Welcome back to another episode of Naperville Sports Weekly. I'm your host, Josiah Schuneman. It was a tough second week of Football Friday with 4 of our 6 area schools dropping their Week 2 games. We'll see if there are better fortunes coming in Week 3, which is the final week of non-conference play. We actually have a Saturday game as Naperville North hosts St. Mary's from Michigan. But before we get to that, let's check out Naperville Central against the Riverside University Meyer Co-op from Wisconsin. The Redhawks look to bounce back from a tough loss to Plainfield North. Coach Ulrich and the 1-1 Naperville Central Redhawks are looking for a win in Week 3. They go up against the Riverside University Meyer Co-op from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tyler Dodd quickly gets Central on the board as he hurdles a defender and dives to the end zone for the first touchdown of the game. It's 7-0 with 10:36 left in the first quarter. Heading into the second quarter, Chris McCormick keeps it on the option and runs it in for the touchdown. 16-0 Redhawks. Central adds another score, this time with McCormick pitching to Tyler Dodd on the speed option to stretch the lead out to 23. Going into the third quarter, Caleb Brown joins in on the action, scoring off the screen pass from 14 yards out. Naperville Central takes home the dominant win, 44-8. The Redhawks face off against Waubonsie Valley at home on senior night next week. We're at Neuqua Valley High School where the Wildcats host the Dragons from St. Mary's of St. Louis. Neuqua is starting its junior quarterback Ryan Moeller as Mark Meneke nurses an injury. St. Mary's was the Missouri Class III state champions last year. First quarter, the Wildcats cash in on the play action as they catch the Dragons off guard. Moeller finds tight end Ryan Mascari wide open for the touchdown. 7-0 NV. Neuqua is in control early, marching down the field again in the second quarter, but disaster strikes. A fumbled handoff leads to a scoop and score by Gabe Booker for St. Mary's. Wildcats blocked a PAT, though, to keep a 7-6 lead. We skip to the fourth with the Wildcats up 2, and Ryan Moeller scores on the QB sneak. They lead 21-12. Final play of the game, St. Mary's down 1. David Leonard tosses one up towards the end zone, but Nicholas Landino is there for the interception to end it. What a win for the Wildcats. 21-20 is your final. After notching their first victory last week, the Bennett Academy Red Wings are back at College of DuPage as they play host to the Brother Rice Crusaders. Last year, Brother Rice came out on top with a big 42-6 win. In the first, Ryan Hartz dumps it off to Taylor Rickey and he speeds down the sideline, then cuts back toward the middle of the open field all the way to the end zone. 7-0 Brother Rice. On the ensuing Red Wing drive, Jake Hopel lofts one high to Pierce Walsh, and he hauls it in over 2 defenders. Bennett ties the game with 11:15 in the second, and that score would hold into halftime. Moving on to the closing moments of the third quarter, Jack Welniak is in for the field goal, but it sails wide right, and Bennett takes over on downs. Now with 6:20 left in the fourth, Daniel Flores is on for a 25-yard field goal attempt, and he nails it. Bennett takes its first lead of the game at 10-7. Crusaders with the ball on 4th down. Ryan Hartz dumps it off to Randall Nauden. He breaks through a couple tackles and races down the sideline all the way to the pylon. Brother Rice goes back on top 13-10 with just 1:30 left in the game. It's desperation time for the Red Wings. Hopel scrambles out to his left again and launches it deep downfield to Andrew Tyson, but he is unable to hold on to it. Bennett now has less than 30 seconds to get on the board again. From the 50-yard line with 20 seconds to go, Hopel drops back and throws over the middle, but Jake Duggar intercepts it and seals the victory for Brother Rice. They escape with a 13-10 road victory over Bennett. The Naperville North Huskies hit the gridiron Saturday afternoon to take on out-of-state St. Mary's, making the trip from Michigan here to Naperville. The Huskies come in looking to continue their undefeated record. They waste no time getting on the board. On the second play of the game, running back Nathan Jacobs takes the handoff, bounces it outside, and streaks down the sideline for the score. They strike first, making it 7-0. After a touchdown run by Danny Elo, the Husky offense picks up right where they left off afterwards, with Aiden Gray throwing a dime right over the defender's shoulder to find Brock Petaway for the touchdown. Huskies extend their lead to 13. In the second half, receiver Luke Williams gets in on the act, catching the slant pass from Gray, making it look easy. Huskies are now cruising up 34-13 late in the third quarter. Danny Elo wraps up the victory for North, finding the end zone once again by cutting upfield and fighting to get over the goal line for his third score of the day. Naperville North earns itself the weekend win, beating St. Mary's comfortably, 40-13. It's senior night at Mattia Valley High School as the Mustangs look to get their first win of the season at home in front of their fans after an 0-2 start. The Lancers of Belleville East look to play spoiler and avenge their 15-14 loss to the Mustangs last season. Second and goal for the Mustangs, quarterback Noah Larson heaves this ball towards the end zone, but it's intercepted by Sonny McGill, and we're going the other way. McGill goes down the sideline for a 95-yard pick six to put the Lancers ahead 7-0. First and goal, Duran Melender pitches it to Markevius Curitan, and it's a walk-in touchdown. The PAT is blocked, but they still lead 13-0 in the first quarter. The Mustangs are down 26-0 and just trying to build some momentum before halftime. Lucas Van Vlera finds Christian Smith, he turns on the Jets, and he is gone. A 69-yard touchdown on the catch and run by Smith as it's 26-7 at halftime. Under 8 minutes to go in the third, Melender scores on the QB sneak to extend the lead. The Lancers' extra point attempt is blocked, but they still lead comfortably at 32-7. Under a minute to go in the third quarter, Melender hands the ball off to Moisey Trimble, and he explodes through the line all the way to the end zone as the Lancers can't be stopped. They lead 38-7 to conclude the third quarter. Late in the fourth quarter, Van Vlera hands it off to Demarion Lewis, who runs in his second rushing touchdown of the night. The Lancers add one more score late as they dominate this game, winning it 52-19 over the Mustangs. It's pediatric cancer night at Waubonsie Valley. The Warriors are looking to pick up their first win of the season against a tough O'Fallon team that currently sits with a 2-0 record. We start the game with the ball in the hands of Colt Michael, who finds Jalen Smith over the middle, who runs for a gain of 15 yards. Same drive for the Panthers. Michael passes to Christian Joyner on the screen, and after breaking 2 tackles, he runs in for the opening touchdown. A minute later, and O'Fallon has the ball again on the 40-yard line. Michael fires downfield to a wide-open Tucker Lehman. The extra point was missed, making it a 13-0 game. Not long after, and the Panthers are threatening again. Michael finds Jalen Smith open, and he avoids a few tackles before getting taken down at the 10 to end the first quarter. Starting the second quarter on the same drive, Michael sees a streaking Christian Joyner in the middle of the field, and the senior does the rest, sprinting into the end zone, extending the lead to 20. Just 2 minutes later, and O'Fallon is back on the attack once again. Michael is having himself a night at the quarterback position as he finds Smith, who extends the ball across the plane for 6 more points. Now 27-0 Panthers. 5 minutes to go in the half, and Waubonsie turns the ball over on downs. That means Michael gets another chance at a score, and he throws a dime to Smith for the 38-yard touchdown. The visitors are running away with this one. Nothing is going the Warriors' way as they give the ball back to the Panthers again. This time, Colt Michael finds Cameron Sheehan for his 6th TD pass of the night. Look out, ref. That makes it 40-0, and that ends up being the final. Waubonsie drops to 0-3. Up next, we have girls volleyball action here on NSW.
Hypnotize your way to savings.
Breathing techniques to help you save.
Looking to make saving a habit?
Yeah, what's the secret?
No secret. Just open a savings account at BMO and we'll give you a cash reward for every month you save.
A cash reward?
Just for saving?
Mm-hmm. And when you open a checking account, we'll give you a $200 bonus to get your new savings habit started.
Love that.
What's your book?
How to get a $200 bonus and a monthly cash reward for saving with BMO.
He literally wrote the book on saving.
That's me on the cover.
When a bank helps you make real financial progress, that's the BMO effect.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
We head to the court for girls volleyball. Naperville North comes in after going 3-2 in the Conant-Fremd Invite, which earned head coach Jennifer Urban 500 wins in her career. The Huskies return home to play host to Wheaton-Warrenville South. We got the Naperville North Huskies playing at home against the Wheaton-Warrenville South Tigers. North comes in after going 3-2 in the Conant-Fremd Invite. First set, Sydney Kushner bumps it over the net. The Tigers look to set up Lily King for the kill, but she's blocked at the net by Simi Kapustova. 1-0 Huskies. Madison Milady Gibson serving for Wheaton-Warrenville South. Paige Lauderwasser tries the spike, but Lauren Coyne is there for the dig, and Rebecca Bellows catches the defense by surprise with a dump. Her team leads it 5-3. Later in the set, it's the Tigers serving again. This time, Lauderwasser, a Wyoming commit, secures the point for North with this beautiful spike. They're up 14-11. Aubrey Kurzus trying to keep the visitors in this one, and she does that by securing an ace as the ball hits the net and just gets over. That makes it a 5-point game. Although, once again, Lauderwasser comes up big for North. Sydney Kushner with a nice dig to keep the point alive, and the senior does the rest, which helps them take set 1, 25-22. Moving on to set 2, the Tigers try to get it over as Rebecca Bellows volleys it. But just like the opening point of the first set, Simi Kapustova secures the first of the second for her team with the kill. Huskies get off to a quick 3-0 start. Wheaton-Warrenville South looking to stop the mini run, and they're able to get on the board from this Aubrey Kurzus spike. The lead is cut down to 2. The Tigers continue to compete in this match. Shelby Erickson tries the bump, but her opponent is ready for it. Bellows sets up Lily King, who uses some touch on this tip for the point. They trail 6-3. Bellows hoping to orchestrate another kill, this time for Lauren Coyne, but the Huskies are able to return it, and as usual, it's Paige Lauderwasser rising up for the spike. They lead by 5. Match point for North. Sydney Kushner dives for the dig, Lauderwasser sets it, and Bella Florima seals the game with this kill. The Huskies come away with the win in 2 competitive sets over the Tigers. That helps them move to 6-2 on the season. St. Charles North, led by head coach Lindsey Hawkins, has arrived as they're about to go up against Coach Bree Isaacson and the Redhawks of Naperville Central. We start with the first set as St. Charles North is leading 3-1, but Georgia Von Lemden makes a sweet kill to get the point for the Redhawks. Luca Vitaite serves for the Redhawks as they're trying to pick up the pace. Catherine Schurer helps their cause as her spike attempt goes out of bounds to make it 8-5 North Stars. Both teams doing work at the net trying to gain an edge. Central is desperately seeking a win in the first set. Haley Bergdorf goes for the kill but gets blocked, although Von Lemden touched the net, which awards the point to St. Charles North. The Redhawks put up a good fight in the first. McKenna Devick with a nice spike that hits off Bergdorf and out of bounds. Although match point goes to the North Stars as Alex Bardenitis picks up a huge ace and her team wins the first set 26-24. Jumping ahead into the second set, Von Lemden serving for Central. It's Bardenitis again, this time with an excellent kill to get the point to put the visitors up 12-7. St. Charles North controlled most of this second set. Bardenitis finishes the game with a pretty spike, and the North Stars take the 2-set victory over the Redhawks. A good road win for Coach Hawkins. On this play of the week, we got more football as Naperville North faces St. Mary's from Michigan, with Danny Elo gashing the defense. The running back takes the handoff from Aiden Gray, bursts through the hole, shakes off a defender, and then shows off his track speed, taking this one all the way to the end zone for a house call. This terrific run was a part of a 3-touchdown day for Elo. What a play that was.
We were there when your kid discovered poison ivy.
Now remember, leaves of 3.
Let it be.
We were there for that, and we're here for everything else. Here, it's personal, because we get to know you.
Local news is your lifeline. Let the Daily Herald help you navigate your world with solid reporting, good advice, and a much-needed diversion or two.
Neuqua Valley girls volleyball is playing in its first season without Kelly Simon, who stepped down as head coach near the end of last year. She spent 20 years with the program, winning 421 games and 3 conference championships. Now that's some big shoes to fill. Although new coach Jamie Booner-Kemper already has the Wildcats off to a solid 6-2 start this season and looks to continue the success that her predecessor achieved. I bring you the latest feature story, sponsored by Edward Elmhurst Health. Neuqua Valley girls volleyball has gone through some big changes in the last year. Kelly Simon, the former head coach who spent 20 years with the program, winning 421 games and 3 conference championships, stepped down near the end of last year. The woman replacing her is Jamie Booner-Kemper, a familiar face for the Wildcat volleyball program.
So I got connected with Kelly Simon. I actually interviewed with her, and I ended up getting a job up at Lake Forest College. I was the assistant volleyball coach up there for 3 years. While it didn't work out that year here, when I was looking at leaving Lake Forest College, there was an opening here at the JV program. So I actually coached with Kelly and was in the program here for 3 years. And then I went over to Lisle High School and was the head coach there.
Booner-Kemper has been involved in the sport of volleyball since she was in middle school. She grew up as a multi-sport athlete in basketball, volleyball, and track and field. When she went to high school at Glenbard South, she was planning on going Division I in basketball with the possibility of also playing volleyball. However, in her senior year of high school, while playing both sports, she got burnt out. So she decided to attend Western Illinois, where she played for and coached the club volleyball team. Her love for the sport grew from having friends who were close to the game.
I actually grew up with some very good volleyball players. My best friend played set for UNC, and her sister played for Wisconsin when they went to the Final Four. So I come from a lot of volleyball friends, so that got me into the sport.
While it might seem like quite the adjustment for Neuqua going from Simon, who helms the team for 2 decades, to Booner-Kemper, the transition has essentially been seamless.
When I came in, they really took to my efforts. I kind of set a system in place, and they've definitely been following it and trusting the system, and I think that's probably been the easiest part of this.
She sees you as a person, and that's why, like I said, she's very approachable. I feel like I can tell her things both from my life or from volleyball, and I know that she'll hear me out and listen to whatever I have to say.
Personally, I like her coaching style. I like, kind of like what Skylar said, like, you know, if she's giving you a piece of advice, like, you need that, like, this is what to work on. In practice, like, it's fun, like, lively, like, I look forward to, like, coming to practice and going to games and things.
Coach Booner-Kemper has made some tweaks with the program since she arrived, but at the same time, she's also respecting the culture that was built by Coach Simon from the earliest days of Neuqua girls volleyball.
The program is established like a lot of traditions, so I think that was one of the hardest things for me to come in, because I wanted to respect and keep those traditions, but I think I've done my own little twist on them. So while we're respecting the traditions and pretty much keeping everything in place, I've tried to do some changes and kind of put my own personality or style on those traditions.
She's already off to a good start with the Wildcats. The team sits at 6-2 as they inch closer to DVC play, and she likes their talent and depth. She also has the support of Coach Simon, who is still teaching at the school and has kept in touch throughout the season. Now the hope is that Coach B can build on the success that her predecessor developed for multiple years. For Naperville Sports Weekly, I'm Josiah Schuneman. Now let's look at late season boys and girls golf. We begin with the Bennett Academy boys taking on Marist in a battle for first place in the ESCC at Carriage Greens Country Club. The conference golf season swings along with Bennett Academy hosting Marist for an ESCC clash at Carriage Greens in Darien. The two teams are tied for first in the conference standings heading into the day. We are playing the back 9 holes for this matchup with par equaling a score of 35. Joey Plummer chipping from just off the fairway and finding the green. Plummer goes on to make par on the hole and shoots a 38 on the day. In the same group, Aiden McGuire with a 20-foot putt to save par. And he drills it. Nicely done and a good way to start a round. Will Schilling putting from the fringe for birdie, and this one stops just centimeters from the cup. The Red Hawk can't believe it and waits to see if gravity will help the ball find the hole, but he must tap in for par. Bennett Academy golfer Braden Einfalt lines up his birdie attempt. The senior reads this break perfectly and sinks the birdie to start his round. Over to the par 5 13th hole. Bennett's Ryan Daniger with a lengthy birdie attempt of his own. The senior buries that one as well en route to a 9-hole score of 38. James Hollowell from Marist going for a long-distance birdie putt. He leaves it just a little short but is able to make the easy tap-in for par. His round of 37 leads the team. On to the 15th hole, a par 3 where sophomore Charlie Davenport makes this par putt look easy. The Red Wing ends his day with an even round of 35. In the next group, we see another Bennett senior Jack Kerrigan make his par putt. Kerrigan continues a strong day for the Red Wings as he shoots a 1 over 36. Over to the 18th hole to finish up. Junior Finn Riley chipping from the fairway. He puts this in a nice spot on the green and goes on to make par. Riley also with a round of 36. Aiden McGuire chipping underneath several trees, so he tries to keep the shot low below the branches. It works out well and rolls onto the green. It ends up as a par for the senior, who finishes with a 37. Farther back in the fairway is Marist's Anthony Kuda, who finds the green with his iron shot. Kuda with a 40, second best on the team. Nick Lydell putting for Bennett on the green, looking for par, and he gets the ball to stay home and drop into the cup. 7 of the 8 Bennett varsity golfers shoot 38 or lower on the day. Leading the way for the Red Wings is Braden Einfalt. He is fired up to hit this par putt to end his round, and for good reason. It's a 1 under 34 to lead all scores as Bennett Academy moves into first place in the ESCC standings.
Bags and clubs are out at Stonebridge Country Club for a DVC matchup. Metea Valley comes in with excitement after beating Plainfield North, while Waubonsie Valley gets underway with the second half of conference play. First hole of the day has Mustang Macy Martin doing her thing, and that's putting in her ball for par to start out even. Teammate Pranvi Kakar chips her ball to the green, and it takes a nice roll to the hole, but just comes up short despite the curve. Kakar golfs a 43 on the day. Here's Meadow Rollins for Waubonsie in line for a par, and it's perfect. She takes a 46 on her round. To the 5th hole, and Lily Riley also lines up for par, but this one needs a little extra excitement as it's all smiles for the senior. Martin is in the grass but gets a good chip that puts her ball in a good position. She goes on to score a 42 on her outing. Hannah Lee is all seriousness on hole 9 for a par, and it pays off. That's good for a score of 47. Matea's Abby Terada just wants to get out of the grass, but the hit was so perfect the ball goes into the hole for an eagle. That's one way to end a challenging round. However, the Warriors are able to get the last laugh with the Lily Riley par that gives Waubonsie a one-stroke win over Metea.
Coming up, we bring you girls swimming here on NSW. NCTV 17 is the place for all Naperville area high school football action, covering all 6 local teams. Whether you're a student athlete, parent, or just a fan of the game, stay on top of what's happening in your hometown high school football scene. Sign up for Football Friday today to get all the action delivered straight to your inbox on Saturday morning. Subscribe for free at nctv17.org/subscribe.
Hypnotize your way to savings.
Breathing techniques to help you save.
Looking to make saving a habit?
Yeah, what's the secret?
No secret. Just open a savings account at BMO and we'll give you a cash reward for every month you save.
A cash reward?
Just for saving?
Mm-hmm. And when you open a checking account, we'll give you a $200 bonus to get your new savings habit started.
Love that.
What's your book?
How to get a $200 bonus and a monthly cash reward for saving with BMO.
He literally wrote the book on saving.
That's me on the cover.
When a bank helps you make real financial progress, that's the BMO effect.
Our last highlights of the week are girls swimming, starting with a DVC clash between Neuqua Valley and Naperville North. The swimming and diving season is in full swing as Naperville North travels down to Neuqua Valley to take on the Wildcats in a highly anticipated DVC matchup. We begin with a 200-yard freestyle to kick off the meet, with Naperville North's Chloe Chen pulling away from the competition, with fellow Husky Peyton Schreier coming in close second in front of Wildcats Crystal Yu, Kate Pieros, and Anika Chandola. Next up is the 200-yard individual medley, as it's a competitive race all the way up until the last 25 yards. Naperville North's Kelsey Wessel pulls away to get the first place finish, followed by Neuqua's Malika Putakam and Marissa Kondrasheva. We keep it short and sweet here as Neuqua's Anna Karubas comes out on top in the 50-yard freestyle. Behind her are Wildcats' Caitlin Higgins and Lizzie Rosenberg. The action keeps on coming in the 100-yard butterfly as Naperville North standout Amy Duhamel has a strong finish and wins the heat with close competition for second and third with Izzy Herscher and Natalie Sierzanowski. Moving on to the 200-yard freestyle relay, and this heat is highly competitive between the Wildcats and Huskies as the race comes down to the final few laps. Wildcats relay team of Ruhi Chatan, Lizzie Rosenberg, Anna Karubas, and Emily Wu take first, followed by North's team of Clara Gilvitis, Peyton Schreier, Melissa Patterson, and Chloe Chen. Another race that comes down to the wire is the 100-yard breaststroke. Ruhi Chatan, Megan Furuichi, and Kelsey Wessel battle until the very end as it almost looks like a three-way tie. But Chatan prevails and beats her opponents by a few tenths of a second to secure the victory for Neuqua. We now arrive at the final act, the 400-yard freestyle relay. Huskies Melissa Patterson, Clara Gilvitis, Chloe Chen, and Amy Duhamel go stroke for stroke, with Wildcats Lizzie Rosenberg, Crystal Yu, Emily Huffine, and Anika Chandola. On the last leg, Duhamel passes Chandola to take the lead and win the race in dramatic fashion. But despite the triumphant effort, the Wildcats beat the Huskies in the end 106-80. Waubonsie Valley girls swimming and diving travels to Naperville Central. This is the DVC opener, and both teams look to start conference play on a strong note. We start out with the 200-yard medley relay. The start of the race is close, but it comes down to the final lap. Waubonsie Valley's team of Avery Ball, Amia Selman, Bella Plude, and Cassidy Baugh win the relay by 0.72 seconds ahead of Naperville Central's team in lane 5. Next up is the 200-yard freestyle. Once again, we have a tightly contested race at the start, but Ruby Meyer pulls away at the end and wins the race with a time of 2:00:13, 2 seconds ahead of Central's Reagan Fox. Sticking with the 200-yard races, but now with the individual medley. Naperville Central is looking to win its first race of the event, and Elena Viome does just that, winning with a time of 2:20:61. Finishing in second place and 3 seconds behind her is Isidra Perea. We shorten the length to 50 yards with the freestyle. Like always, it's a close race to begin with. However, Avery Ball pulls away from the pack right at the end of the race and finishes 0.94 seconds ahead of her teammate Colleen Quaid. The 100-yard butterfly is our next race. Starting out in front is Central's Eden Ghosh, who is closely followed by Bella Plude. Although, coming down the final lap, Plood passes Ghosh and she wins the race by 0.58 seconds after trailing nearly the entire time. Great comeback from the Warrior. Moving on to the 100-yard freestyle. We have a tight race here between 2 Warriors and 1 Red Hawk. Lauren Eschmeyer is the Red Hawk, and she finishes in first place, followed closely by Dub V's Colleen Quaid and Cassidy Baugh. Flipping over to the backstroke, out in front at the start are 2 Warriors, and they also finish out in front as Avery Ball gets first, and Bella Plood finishes roughly a second after her for second place. We finish the meet with the 100-yard breaststroke. This race is easily the closest of the meet as Eden Ghosh finishes in first. 0.33 seconds behind her is Elena Viome, and 0.15 seconds behind her is Amia Selman. Naperville Central wins its first conference meet of the season in a very competitive one against Waubonsie Valley by a score of 100-86. Look at tennis for this play of the week with Bennett Academy versus Naperville North, with Claire Lepaka showing great reflexes. Brooke Kaufman unleashes a rocket down the line, but Lepaka somehow tracks it down and flips her return over Gabby Lee's head. The ball bounces in bounds for an incredible point. That forehand from Kaufman looked like it would be too much to handle, but Lepaka was ready for it. That'll do it for the show this week. Next week, we'll begin conference play in football. The golf regular season winds down, and we'll see our local girls competing in the Tiger Volleyball Classic. Don't forget, we're always online. Check us out on our website for extended highlights and stories at nctv17.org. You can also find us on social media at nctv17 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Naperville Sports Weekly, I'm Josiah Schuneman. See you next week.